With Jackie Heinrich asking a question.
Slamming MAGA Republicans for dangerous default gamesmanship. You had Pete Aguilar saying McCarthy's beholden to the most extreme members of his party. So is House Democratic leadership undermining the work of the administration right now?
Not at all. We are aligned with them, with the leadership on both the House and the Senate, and that continues, and we have been aligned with them for the past several months.
Does Jeffries speak for the party here?
I believe he's the leader of the Democratic caucus on the House, so I would presume that is a yes.
So it just seems like there's a bit of a divide between the rhetoric that he's using and the rhetoric we're hearing out of the White House.
Look, I think multiple things could happen at the same time. Clearly, Leader Jeffries is a partner in this, has been a partner as well as Leader Schumer. That will continue, and I'll just leave it there. I'm going to go to my
the discharge petition. One more. Is that at all a signal that House Democrats doubt the president's ability to lead the country to a solution here?
Well, that's an extreme analysis or final kind of analysis there. I would say if you look at what the president has done the last 2 years and the leadership that he has shown in passing historic pieces of legislation, bringing the Democrats together in passing in the Inflation Reduction Act, when he brought the Democrats together to pass his first legislation, which is the American Rescue Plan, that helped get the economy back on its feet. That is a president that has led. That is a president that has continued to lead. You look at the economy has been able to create 12.7 million jobs. It's been able to see an unemployment rate at one of the lowest that we have seen in modern time. And that's going to continue if we continue to do the work of the American people, get this budget negotiation done. And here, that's at stake. The work that this president has done, that is what's at stake right now.
The district petition, though, would be like an end run around what the president is doing.
Absolutely not. Look, I would refer you to Congress on their processes and what they're trying to do in Congress. But to say or suggest the president's leadership is in question, I think is completely false. I disagree with that premise and certainly with that question, because if you look at the last 2 years, if you look at what Democrats have been able to get done with the leadership of this president, that is the complete opposite of what you just laid out. Go ahead, April.
Good morning. Two topics. On the debt ceiling, you were strategic last.
Breaking right now, House Republicans giving an update on the fentanyl epidemic as the CDC predicts overdose deaths just hit another all-time high. Let's dip in for a moment. Watch.
Here to speak more on this is our co-chair, Brad Winstrup.
I want to thank all my colleagues for coming out and for all of you coming out to hear our message. You know, our goal is to acknowledge what is going on and make every attempt to fix the problem that is all across of America. You know, the House of Representatives is taking action. We have taken action on the border. We're going to take action on this particular problem. I can tell you that as a representative, as a soldier, and as a doctor, that I consider illicit fentanyl to be a weapon of mass destruction, a huge danger to America. You've heard the numbers. You've heard the analogy. If a plane dropped every day, would we just be sitting around doing nothing and not talking about it? Would the president be not talking about that? But that's what we have. And right now, between ages of 18 to 45, it is the #1 cause of death. It is so destructive, these overdoses, and most of it illicit fentanyl. Fentanyl has its place in medicine, but not the illicit fentanyl. You know, we've made border trips. We went as a doctor's caucus down to the border to evaluate what was going on as far as the health security to the United States of America. And it wasn't just drugs either. It was seeing people come across when we're in the middle of a pandemic, no testing for COVID, making a lot of mistakes. I've gone down to the border with the Intelligence Committee to look at the national security risk that we face, and there are many. This is a cancer on America. You know, we've got to remove this cancer and get it off of our streets and out of our families. And we've got to stop things at the border or even before. I met with the Chinese ambassador several months ago, and he said, we don't like being blamed for the fentanyl issue in the United States. And I explained to him that I had been in China about 8 years ago when they were sending fentanyl directly to people's homes. and asked them to stop it. In 2019, they did put a ban on that. He said, well, we're just selling a legal product, the precursors. We send that to other places too. And I said, well, that's fine. I'll tell you what, we'll work with you on that. We'll work with you on tracking where you're sending these precursors. We'll work with the Mexican government as well, if that's what it takes. He didn't want to go there. And here we have this situation. So I'm reintroducing this week something I introduced on last term. It's the SOS Act, Save Our Scourge Act, which makes illicit fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. And it will address the precursors coming from China going to the cartels. It will work with Mexican military and their counter-drug agencies. It will assess trafficking and see what we can do as a government in the United States of America, both federal and state, to try and address these issues. The Department of Homeland Security uses the definition that we use in
เขาถามอายุกันเราอายุเท่าไหร่ทีมของคุณเป็นฝ่ายเลือกที่เมื่อกี้เปล่าทีมตรงข้ามเป็นฝ่ายเลือก19เรียกพี่แล้วกันแค่นั้นแหละได้คิดมาพี่แล้วกันเหลืออีก10 วินาทีพี่ไม่เรียนแล้วค่ะพี่เรียนจบไปแล้วสัมภาษณ์งานหรือเปล่าเนี่ยแล้วทำไมเดตตี้ไม่มาดึงอ่ะดึงผวาแบบเจอแบทแมนวันนั้นปะจงต้อนรับการกลับมาของข้าช่วยดูล่อเรียกราศัตรูให้สิ้นทุกคนต้องการอลิสยังไม่ได้อัพสกิล2